those eras will.
Well,
never
can you
go away.
imagine writing a song like More Than a Feeling or Comfortably Numb and have it just go from generation to generation to generation and still be perfect? I think the music industry is going to be a lot like the film industry, where you're always going to have these independent films that break out and become a hit, and then Hollywood or whatever Hollywood is at the moment will follow that and copy it. I think music will always be the same.
But there'll always be the classics.
Sure.
That will be looked upon as that's when it was the best of times in the art.
Yeah.
Right? And then you're going to have a bunch of brand new AI just produced.
Yeah. There's always going to be moments like that where there's going to be an independent thinker who's going to think outside of those boundaries and come up with something interesting. Ingenuity wise is going to be different, and people are going to love it. And then obviously there are going to be 1,000 copycats that come and follow that.
You can't get ChatGPT to write dialogue like Tarantino can write it.
Absolutely.
But you can get him ChatGPT to write a script about a big shark. That's easy.
Sure.
So it's gonna like challenge people to kind of step up their game, because Hollywood and even the music business, and especially country music, is filled with formulaic people who just go.
Even the chord progressions, especially country music, you could take 20 country music hits. You could mash them together as it's the same song.
I've done it. They all here's the thing. Here's just a little hack. Is E, B, C major, A. Those chords are the hit chords to like 1,000 songs.
Yeah. There's definitely a dopamine hit that happens with those chords.
Okay.
That you're like, oh, it's so good.
Well, here's the thing. They have it down to the top producers like Bo Hill and Mutt Lange and all those. They know the frequencies that people react to.
Wow.
They literally have it down to a frequency. Like when Def Leppard records, they're like, no, we need 17 stacked vocals, because that's what's
that
going to...
sounds so much like bullshit, but I don't know enough to call you on that.
No, it's true. It's true. I've been in the room with studio guys who will play a note and be like, we need this frequency, we need this chord progression.
Let's transition that into film. We always come back to this, and I love it. I love this because we are film guys.
Absolutely.
So the other night, because I got rid of Netflix, but I got it back for that bullshit Tyson fight. So since I had it, I was like, all right, I keep just, throwing Netflix under the bus. How there's so much stuff up there, but none of it's good. Let me go and see what's going on. Mm-hmm. I go on there. Guess what I watched? What? I watched The Thing from 1982.
John Carpenter.
Really?
Yeah, because there's just nothing on there that interests me. I keep coming back to it. I do not want to be this way. I really don't. I don't want to be this way. I want to look at new things. It all sucks.
What did you think? When you look back at it, what did you think?
It just solidified my knowledge that these movies back then are just so great, and now they're just overproduced. They're so polished.
You're reminding me of how well Alien holds up as a film. When you look back at a film that is that old and you go, wow, it holds up well. I think Jaws does reasonably well. I mean, if you look at Jaws, if you think about the technology then versus now, it would have been all CGI now.
Oh, we would have seen the shark every 3 seconds now, right?
Exactly.
But if you look at The Thing, the Thing is
you've got to anticipate. Yeah, you've got to anticipate that forever. Absolutely.
It's just like you're talking about with music. Like, it's the same 4 chords.
Yeah.
The Thing is the same 4 chords as Alien.
That's a good point.
It's just not on a spaceship. It's in the Antarctic.
That's a good point. Yeah.
It's the exact same movie.
It's funny looking back and thinking back to that, because I mean, back when VHS tape, it was such a bore to have to rewind those and replay them. And for instance, if you went to Blockbuster and rented something like Fast Times at Ridgemont High, you would get to the Phoebe Cates pool scene and it would always glitch because people rewound people were rewinding it and watching it over and over again.
Yeah. Okay, so you're right. There were issues.
That was hilarious. Yeah, I mean,
there were issues, but
it's funny stuff because we know what it was all about. So
another thing I'm doing too is like I'll watch. I'm a big Star Trek fan. I watched 2 episodes last night of The Next Generation. I've seen The Next Generation all 7 seasons 300 times.
Really?
I'll sit there all weekend and watch I'll watch an entire season of The Next Generation versus watching any of the new Star Trek that's come out. Because there's like brand new shows that are out that I just have no interest in.
Let me ask you.
Am I just stuck like where what makes me comfortable? I don't know.
I was just wondering about that very topic. You tend to lean toward machismo stuff. Are there any romance films that you actually like Bridges Over Madison County, for instance, or
Are you new?
That's
Do you mean when Worf started dating the counselor Troy? You talking about that romance?
Well, I mean,
Bridges
Over Madison County has Clint Eastwood in it. It's a beautiful film.
You know what else has Clint Eastwood in it? Dirty Harry.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm curious. Do you gravitate toward any of those things at all?
I do not.
Sleepless.
I tried watching The Time Traveler's Wife. I fell for that one.
I never saw that
because I thought it was time travel, but no, it's all about her and their relationship.
Sleepless in Seattle.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. No. Anything.
Nothing. Didn't even get a boner.
Oh my gosh!
I can't tell you.
That's a
any
whole.
of the, romance. No, I never got into it. I like movies where guys are faced with a problem and they have to fix it. I don't like movies where a guy has a problem and a woman comes in and makes it worse. And I think when you're talking about
overcome the woman and the problem,
when you're talking right. It's like, oh, now I gotta fix the problem and deal with her.
We're back to Halloween, then, are we not?
He falls in love with the woman during the process, and then there's a whole thing.
Oh, dude, look at Casino with De Niro and Sharon Stone.
That was such a great movie.
I'm afraid to let her in the house.
Oh, you are gonna do it.
Hey!
Let me in the house.
Hey! Please!
He would have been fined if it wasn't for her.
Yeah, he would have been fine.
Jesus Christ, what a pain in the ass she was.
If she calms down, I will let her in the house.
I am calm.
But those were the best movies. I mean, we're like get off my lawn kind of guys, but
Yeah, but that's okay. We need more get off my lawn guys. Definitely.
Well, movies now is like you watch the original Roadhouse, and it's like it was fairly believable that a guy could be a badass and bouncer and kick ass and straighten out a bar, and then they redo it. I mean, Patrick Swayze just killed that role.
Yeah.
But
the 80s were made for a guy like Patrick Swayze.
Oh yeah, he was custom made for the 80s. Ghost and Dirty Dancing.
Oh, there's one. There's a romance one that I did like, Ghost. I did like the movie Ghost. But there's a revenge element in there.
Yeah.
There's a little
and it's is it sort of like an ethereal the whole thing with the ghost and the afterworld and the afterlife.
And I'll tell you what, I'm not gonna lie, I get a little choked up when I watch Armageddon. Am I the only one that gets a little, knot in the throat with Armageddon?
I saw
when
Armageddon.
Bruce Willis is about to,
it's the soundtrack.
Stay on the asteroid.
What was the Aerosmith song they used that pumped that movie?
Don't want to miss a thing.
Don't want to miss a thing. And they played I saw that movie in the theaters. It was great. It was just, all sizzle, no steak. But it had a vibe. It had good production, but it was not one of those.
But also the music is what gets you choked up. The music is what does it. Whether it's the Aerosmith tune or the score.
Same thing as Pulp Fiction, especially during the Miramax years. If something hit, they would make 7 more of them, just with different people, different players, and different, MacGuffins, different things to lead the movie.
And the reason they weren't as good is because the Pulp Fiction knockoffs were scripts that were written 5 years before Pulp Fiction that were read, sat on shelves. Pulp Fiction comes out. Didn't we have that? Didn't we have something like that? Didn't we have? Where's that? What's this one called? Oh, it's called 2 Days in the Valley. Yeah, put that out.
But they don't have Quentin. They don't have Quentin Tarantino's dialogue.
Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead. Yeah, put that one out. Which is a good. I actually like Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead. If you've ever seen it,
I haven't seen it. No.
Oh yeah, Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead is great, but clearly it was on the shelf until Pulp Fiction came out. Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead is. Not only is it a great title, pretty good.
Is there a trailer or anything?
Is there a trailer? Should we watch it?
I want to see it now. You've piqued my interest.
There's no romance in it. I hope you guys like it.
Jimmy the Saint was a good man, and one day the old boss forced him back.
Oh my God, Christopher Walken too?
El Paso, Mr. Shush, the most lethal contract killer west of the
year?
Mississippi.
95.
Wow.
Anything else?
Things to do in Denver when you're dead.
Very cool.
Dude,
Yeah.
the 90s Miramax era, I mean, take away the Weinstein stuff, but just the movies of the 90s Miramax era, I don't know if it'll ever be beat.
Tell me right now that being on Miramax, tell me that script wasn't sitting on a shelf until Pulp Fiction came out.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they made 100 Pulp Fictions afterwards, but you know, here's the thing. In the 90s, if you made a watered down Pulp Fiction, it's still better than anything comes out today.
Yep.
Like I would watch that, Things to Do When You're Dead in Denver or whatever. I'd watch that. I'd go to the movie and see that before I saw the new Wicked movie.
Yeah, that one came out same year as 2 Days in the Valley. You know, I think that right there, Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead, I think I found that in a video store, and it just looking at the cast. But that's the thing about going into a store, and you know, it's probably in a Blockbuster on DVD, but then you're able to look at it and you look at the back, and you can, and you're doing things that you don't do now. You're reading it and you're looking
Exactly.
at, you know. You're like, I'll give this out. I'll give this a shot. You know.
I'm thinking of The Hot Spot, directed by Dennis Hopper, starring Don Johnson. It's an obscure little film shot out in Texas. And it's just a weird, fun ride for 2 hours. I mean, I don't know that I would even know about it had I not been browsing Blockbuster or whatever and came across it. So,
and you can say that that's, I guess the argument for today would be, well, you could do the same kind of browsing on Netflix in the menu, but honestly, it's different because it's not
truly
up to
it
you.
is.
You're not pulling it out because you're seeing the spline or you're seeing the artwork. Even though the artwork's there as a thumbnail, it's almost like it's in your face, and you're like, you just got next.
Dude, that's a hell of a point, because now we're so used to seeing thumbnails and having social media recommend stuff to us. When you went to Blockbuster, you were just kind of browsing.
It was up to
I mean,
you.
you would look at the posters and stuff, but yeah, it's a very different way of finding movies and stuff. So
also, I noticed, again, just getting back on Netflix, I noticed like if you just hover over it, it just plays.
Yeah,
You know,
YouTube does.
You know, all right, next, and after that happens, I'm like, all right, I gotta get off of this menu and now I'm just gonna start looking for and then I just get irritated and just watch.
Well,
the
I
Big
think,
Lebowski.
and sometimes when you see that little preview, okay, you're like, okay, I got the movie. I'm you know, I'm moving on. I got the gist of the movie. I'm moving on. You're missing a whole lot of the story in the movie, but for some reason, the gist of the movie wasn't appealing enough, and you moved on.
I don't believe these streaming services do these filmmakers justice, because we're skipping
Sure.
more than we're choosing a piece. We're like, they don't promote it enough. They don't do it well. It's like, no, we bought it, we produced it, it's up on our menu.
Yeah.
Good luck.
I guess they figure people binge watch so much that they'll come across it at some point. You know, eventually they'll come across it. So
I just saw that there was and this is what kills me. I don't know which streaming service did this. I don't know if it's Paramount or Apple. I don't know, but it's a George Clooney, Brad Pitt movie called Wolves.
Oh yeah.
That's a new one, apparently.
Yeah, it's a brand new one. Well, I'm a fan of Brad Pitt and, you know, George Clooney, you know, whatever. But but also I'm like, what the hell is this? I didn't know this was a thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, this is like 8 months old. Like, when did this come out? They don't promote anything.
I know, but
You know?
maybe if you look at the Netflix system, what do you pay? What, $12 a month to be a member of it?
Well, I think
they've got this.
I don't know. I just signed up for $22. So.
Oh, really? So they've got this huge budget. They're just like, okay, we'll buy all this material, fill our slot with it, and
never tell anybody about it.
Right. It's
Just
just like
hide
it's
it
all
away.
it's all on paper. It's all pre-planned on paper. You know, we've got this budget, we got these movies. Let's lay it all out, and y'all find it. You guys find it. You viewers find it. I don't know.
I'm gonna plug my DVD player back in. I'm thinking more and more about the apocalypse now. If it ever were to, everything goes south, right? We rely so much on Wi-Fi. Like getting, like, I still have a bunch of physical media.
Oh yeah, me too.
On DVDs, right? And I keep going back to Netflix or whatever, and I'm just like watching the same old stuff. I've got it all on DVD, so I'm gonna be fine. Like, I'm not gonna miss out on, you know, the 7 seasons of The Expanse or Silo, all this Netflix bullshit that's out. I don't even give a shit.
No.
But I've got 3 versions of The Big Lebowski. You know what I mean?
I knew you'd have that one.
I've got 2 versions of Pulp Fiction. You know,
yeah.
I'm good.
You're good. You're
I'm
all
good.
set.
I'm good.
Absolutely.
You know, send the asteroid. I'm fine. I'm fine.
I've been buying albums again lately,
Yeah.
and I've got a really enjoyable album collection. So
Yeah,
if
you're gonna
when
be
the-
good, too.
When the big asteroid hits, I'll listen to albums.
I don't know if
then,
cassettes
so.
will come back or if there's going to be a big thing for cassettes or CDs, but yeah, albums and DVDs, I'm in.
No,
Awesome.
the thing people are going to look for are the things that are being censored. Right now, the companies are going, Goodfellas, that scene is a little too harsh. Let's just go ahead and edit that out. And that's just what you get. You
On
watch
streaming.
it, on streaming. They don't tell you we've edited this from the original broadcast.
sucks.
So you watch it and you go, and some of the song rights, they didn't pay for song rights for streaming in the 80s and 90s because they didn't know what was coming. So they have to use other music. So the only way to get it how you remember it, truly, in a lot of ways, in a lot of circumstances, is to have the physical media. I mean, not everything. I mean, you could put on
DVD.
Pulp Fiction, it'll probably play just like you remember it. The 90s, to me, were, if you look at filmmaking, you progressed in like pushing the envelope, pushing the envelope, pushing the envelope. And
Yeah.
then in the late 90s, it was like reversed. It was like envelope pushed, go back, go back, go back. And today we're like walking on eggshells to
Yeah.
do anything.